Well, hello and welcome to a Board Gamers video feature. Today I, sitting here in my pajamas and drinking coffee, we are looking at SimCity, which is the infamous city simulation game developed by Maxis and distributed by EA. SimCity has a wonderful, proud heritage. It was a game series that goes back to the 1980s, and this is the very latest iteration of that series. But it's been quite controversial. It first came out last year, and if you were to buy that game when it was first released, you probably would have been pretty disappointed because you more than likely wouldn't have been able to actually get in and play the game. Why is that? Well, because this game is one of those modern examples of a use of technology, perhaps when it's not mature enough to use on a mass scale. That is the always online model for a game, which basically means that the only way to play the game is to connect to a remote server while you're playing, and that server, you have to have a constant connection to that server, and that server keeps your save games, keeps everything in place for you in order for you to play. If you're not connected to that server, the game doesn't let you in, doesn't let you play. It's simple as that. And when this game first launched last year, there was a lot of demand. A lot of people were very excited about the game. It's been 10 years since the previous proper SimCity game. And if you were to log in on those first few days, in fact those first few weeks, you probably wouldn't have been able to connect to the game or play at all. So very disappointing, really bad PR for EA, and as a result they actually gave away a free game to anyone who had bought the game at that point because the situation was so dire. Why are we looking at the game today? Well, in the last few days Maxis have finally released their long-touted feature, which is a single-player mode, which in layman's terms is the offline mode. Now, last year, at the launch of the game, Maxis did tell us, well, it's impossible to have an offline mode because of the complications of the simulation. It has to be done online. Well, this is not true. As you can see, it says on screen right now, offline is here. You can play the game perfectly well without a connection to an internet server, which is a wonderful thing. So, I wanted to look at the game. I haven't played it since last year, a few months after it came out, and there have been lots of tweaks and updates and extra things that have been added to the game since then. So, let's dive in, shall we? As you can see, it's not exactly Metropolis, but it's a nice, humble little town. I've got this going. My main line of industry at the moment is an ore mine I have up here. And I've got a bit of commerce, a little bit of industry. It's quite a clean town. I mean, I've got a mine, but at the same time, I'm very eco, a bit of an eco warrior. You know, it's a bit of a hippie town because we've got this wind power plant, which is driving it. So it's low pollution. It's quite humble, apart from this neighbourhood, of course, which is where all the rich people live, as you can see by the the big old mansions here. For those who haven't played SimCity, this is the basic styling of the game. You have different zones that represent different sectors. This is a residential zone. Not sure if I can get a data overlay here to show it. Here we are. All these green areas are residential zones. Basically, you create a path based on a road, and you then link that path to a residential zoning tool, commercial zoning tool, and an industrial zoning tool to give you all the basics of what you need for your particular town. And the fun thing about SimCity, and particularly this version as well, is how close you can get to the action. You can follow, I can't remember how to do it off the top of my head, but you can follow cars, you can follow people around the city and watch and go about their daily lives. Being a city simulation game, it's very open-ended. You can design whatever city you like within the confines of this city, as you can see by the dotted line around the edge. That is the confine of my city. Now, this has also been a bone of contention with this game, because the confines are quite restrictive. As you can see, there's a lot of real estate beyond my city that I just can't get access to. This dotted line does not move. That is the fundamental edge of my city and always will be. And I mean, I've only got a population of what, 5,000? And as you can see, I've already used up probably about a third, or well, about half of the map. The last game in the series, SimCity 4, had map sizes that were probably equivalent to about 10 times this. So that's not such a good thing. The reason why it's so small, according to Maxis, is that the simulation is very complex, and if you were to make the map sizes any larger than this, it would really struggle to keep up with simulating all of the elements. Whether that's true or not, who knows? Because the fact is they told us that this game couldn't be played offline, and now we are playing it offline. So as I can demonstrate by just clicking save game. No connection to a server, no nothing. I can just click save. It's saved on my hard drive. Fantastic. That's all good news as far as I'm concerned. What do we need added onto our city hall? So many choices. Do we want to educate our Sims? Do we want to extort our Sims? Keep them safe. Keep them amused. Get them around quickly. Or just improve our general facilities. I think a Department of Education sounds good to me. I've always been one for trying to be I'm more of an educator than an industrialist. Let's put it that way. So, where are we going to put this? Putting it that quick and easy in real life to. If only it would be that quick and easy in real life to remodel a city. Let's have a look. Some lovely overlays in this game, and it really gives you a fantastically visual representation of the various utilities that flow around your city. You can see the water flowing around here. I love this one. Look at this. Look at all that brown sludge. That is the waste products of human beings being sucked mercilessly towards our sewage outflow pipe, hidden here in the crook of the mountain. You're very addicted to these types of games, just because it's a never-ending quest of improvement. There's no real end game. You can always make improvements to your city. Well, I say you can always make improvements. That's assuming. That's assuming that you don't just run out of room and therefore just get frustrated. In terms of how I feel about this game compared to when I last played it, I definitely feel like the game runs a bit more smoothly. It was quite, it seemed quite intensive on the resources of the system when I first played it. Whether that's just optimization or whether that's because it's now offline and not relying on connecting to a central server, I'm not sure. But there are lots of little improvements, I have to say, about the balance. And, one of the big things when I first played the game, they seem to sort it out, is the travelling of cars along roads, and just always defaulting to the shortest route, whether it was the quickest route. Because the shortest route is not always the quickest route, as we know in real life, so you'd often get a lot of cars getting stuck going down the smallest roads and ignoring the big avenues to get around. So that seems to be being addressed. This game, compared to other SimCity games, is a lot easier to balance your budget. It's not really a factor. Unless you're really mismanaging what you're doing, it's very easy to make profit, which is good. Because in previous SimCity games, it was always a constant headache trying to actually make money. So I think that's a good improvement. Looks like we need more fire trucks. Again, I don't know where the fire is, but this could be what I'm saying. Hey, it's up here. It's part of the issue we've got now, is that our fire station is now a long way away from a lot of our populace. And as we can see by the green lines, we can see the sort of general area of coverage that the fire department has got. So do we build another fire station up here, or do we just build more trucks? I'm running a bit low on water now. So it's only a few minutes I checked this, but very quickly all of a sudden you can find yourself running out of some resource, so one needs to keep an eye on this. As we can see here, the water table is brown around these particular buildings, around industrial buildings and something something like a well, it is going to pollute, so you have to be careful about where you place your water. Obviously, by the darker blue, we can see that there's more water available. So let's try and put this. There's a lot of water available here, but quite close to the threshold with dirty water, so it's good balance. Okay, that's a good place. That's going to give us plenty. The other view to look at when it comes to SimCity is what they call the region view. So just click now. Which this is our, as it sounds, a region, a large piece of map that has several city plots on it. As you can see on this map, this is one plot where I'm currently building my city. There are 2 other plots which have got generic names, and then in the middle we have a Great Works. And the Great Works can be a variety of different things. It could be a large solar farm, a big international sort of hub like an airport space centre, which sounds really cool, quite frankly. An arcology centre. Okay, well that's arty-farty architecture. I'm not going to build that. But you can build. Basically, it becomes a point of collaboration between the various cities of a region can collaborate on a great work. Because in theory, all of these cities can be connected with providing services for each other. Obviously, I've only just started this region, so I'm only working on one city. But in theory, I can connect to those other. I can start building cities in other parts of the region. We all connect together, and when we can share services, like we can share rubbish collection, we can share energy, water supply, fire trucks, police vans, all that sort of thing. You can share between cities, and you can all collaborate on a great work. So it's nice that you have this connected feeling with other sort of parts of the region. So there you go. I think that will do us for now. This is a look at SimCity offline mode. I'll prove it's offline. Just click save game, and that's it. You can't do that in the online mode. It just automatically saves as you go along. You know, sometimes you don't realise features that you're missing until you know how good something is until it's gone. And just being able to save your progress and save. I mean, if we click save as, I can create a copy with a different name, and then I can. It gives me the ability to try different things with my city, and if I try something that doesn't work and come back to it at a later date and try again, it means I've got control over that. If the game is saving for you onto a central server, you have no control over what's going on, so you're less likely to take risks and do different things with it. So that sounds like a good feature, but quite frankly, that's the way it's always been with games. So like I said, you don't know how much you might miss something until it's gone. So I think there's a lesson to be learned here that has been learned, certainly by Maxis, which is to not, and we have to include EA in this, of course, as well, to not do something for the sake of it because it sounds cool. This whole, oh, you know, it's great because it does it all for you and it's connected and you're connected to a server and you can play with other people. Yes, that's all lovely on paper, but let's not take away the option for an individual just to have their own city, their own region, to save their progress as they like, how they like, when they like, and to not be relying on other players to either work with them, not work against them, and to generally make the game more complicated and more difficult to connect to. There are always constantly good innovations in games and gameplay. But let's not forget those fundamental elements that make games accessible, make them fun, make them the way we want them to be. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed this little view of SimCity. You can, of course, Google SimCity and find it for yourself and try it out sometime. It's a wonderfully addictive game if you love building little worlds. And I think it's certainly a bit improved than it was, based on where it was when I first played it. So still lots of little minor issues. The main issue being this map size. It doesn't get any bigger than this. So just when you're getting into the your city and you feel really close to it and sort of, you know, like it's your little baby and you're developing it, bang, you've run out of room. So that's still a big issue. I hope that someone either mods the game or someone brings out an innovation that allows the map sizes to get bigger. But until then, offline is certainly a step in the right direction for SimCity. Hope you enjoyed this quick look or playthrough or revisit, whatever you want to call it. You can find more videos, more features, more articles at our website, boardgamersuk.com. So please come back and visit soon.